Hi there. It's the 18th of April 2024, and I'm here to share with you a story about the South African president Cyril Ramaphosa visiting Kampala in Uganda and meeting with his Ugandan counterpart Yoweri Museveni. It's about attempts by the South African president to find a negotiated settlement to the conflict in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. South Africa recently deployed about 3,000 troops, and alongside South African troops, the Uganda'S also deployed its troops, as well as Malawi and Burundi. But there has not been much fighting of late, and the South Africans have been deployed around, they have formed a cordon around the city of Goma, but the actual fighting, an offensive against the Rwandan Defense Forces and their M23 allies, has not actually taken place, and there are attempts to find a negotiated settlement to the conflict. At almost the same time, President Cyril Ramaphosa was in Kinshasa, in Kampala. The chief of the defense force, Ugandan chief of defense force, Major General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, actually he is general now. That was before he was promoted. Now he is General Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Uganda. He was meeting with his Rwandan counterpart, Major General Vincent Nyakarundi. So it's not a coincidence. The Rwandans are also in the mix, and they are trying to have their input between. They are trying to be heard by the South African president. Of course, South Africa is the big power here. So, and South Africa is trying to actually push along things to see if a negotiated settlement can be found. Accompanying the South African president was the South African Minister of Foreign Affairs, Naledi Pandor, and other South African officials. Now, the South Africans, they are taking the side of the DRC here. They are pushing aside the DRC line, and the DRC would want to preserve its territorial integrity, and they would want actually to see that the Rwandans withdraw from Congolese territory without making any concessions. And then the issue now is that the South Africans are pushing this line, but then the Rwandans, both the Rwandans and the Ugandans, they are agreed that the Democratic Republic of Congo, President Tshisekedi, should negotiate with the M23. And this, I've got this article here. It's from the New Times, and the New Times is a mouthpiece of the Rwandan government, Paul Kagame to be precise. And it says here the DRC Congo should negotiate with M23 Museveni. Of course, this article is, let me see which date it is from. It's from around December 2022. But I would think the position has not changed much with Ugandans. The Ugandan stance towards the war in the DRC, as well as their Rwandan allies. So both the Rwandans and the Ugandans, they would want the M23 to negotiate with the Democratic Republic of Congo, while President Tshisekedi is adamant that he would not actually negotiate with the Rwandans for the with the M23 to be precise. Sorry about that. Simply because their demands and the M23 itself is actually it's not actually the Congolese who constitute the majority of the M23. It's actually Rwandans, and these Rwandans, what Rwanda has been doing in the past, especially in 2008 and 2009, when it actually negotiated with the Congolese government for rebels to be reintegrated into the army. What Rwanda has been doing is actually to insert spies, its citizens, into the Congolese army, and then into structures of the Congolese government. Now, this actually weakens the DRC government, and the army itself is not even right now at this point in time. The army cannot, the Congolese army, the regular Congolese army cannot actually fight the M23 because it is full of people who have dubious nationality, people who are obviously Rwandan nationals who are actually lodged within the DRC army. And this has been the issue. And it's difficult to see how President Ramaphosa is going to bridge the gap between the Congolese stance and the Ugandan both the Ugandan and the Rwandan position. The M23 strategy, let me show you a map here. It's a map of the city of Goma. So this is the city of Goma. It's encircled in the dotted red line, and under normal circumstances, there are only 2 million citizens in Congolese citizens in the city of Goma. With the influx of internally displaced people, there are now about 5 million people who are camped in and around the city of Goma. And the M23 has actually been, and its Rwandan allies, it has actually been trying to station around the city of Sake. Sake is about like 20 kilometers out of Goma, and then they have been shelling the Congolese positions, the regular Congolese army, as well as the SADC forces who are formed a cordon around the city of Goma. And they are out, the M23 is outside the town of Minova as well. That's the just south of Goma, across Lake Kivu. And then it's here as well in towns such as Bibatama and Buhumba. And all these towns, what the M23 has been trying to do is to actually encircle Goma and then starve of people, the people of Goma, literally to starve the people of Goma into submission and force the Congolese government to negotiate with the M23 and then to yield to the demands of the M23. Whether that's going to actually happen is open to debate. But my own analysis is that as time goes on, the South Africans are going to get tired of the Rwandan demands, because besides the Rwandans actually getting support from the Ugandans, the Rwandans are also supported by powerful Western allies, namely the Americans and the French. So the Rwandans are actually counting on the Western powers to actually prevail in the war in the Eastern DRC. But then you have the conflicting interest of the Southern African Development Grouping, which actually aims to preserve the territorial integrity of its members. And the Rwandans, they are adamant that they would want the provinces of North Kivu and South Kivu incorporated into Rwanda itself, or failure to do that, they would actually want as time moves on to actually infiltrate as much of their people as possible. And these people, you know, they would always claim that they are Congolese, but they are actually Rwandan, and most of them, they are Tutsis. So this is the position, and as time goes on, I will actually be updating you on developments in the Eastern DRC with the Congo, how the negotiations are taking place, the situations on the battlefield itself. And if you are interested in material of this kind, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.